Mike Owens with Inside Fighting here, joined today by Isaac Dulgarian, who returns to action 7th of September, facing Brandon Marotte. Isaac, great to sit down and chat. How are things with you today?
I'm doing all right, man. I just got done training, getting some PT and stuff. So, just kind of winding down. I got to go swim here in a little bit, but most of my main workouts are done for the day, and just gonna kind of hang out with my family and get some good food in me and all that.
How is the vibe in Factory X Muay Thai at the moment? A lot of guys booked, a lot of guys just coming off big fights. So how's the mood in the gym?
It's good. We just started a little win streak, so that's always good, and I'm hoping to carry it through. We just got good guys. Chris Gutierrez, Yusuf Salal, great fighters, and I got to train with them most of their camps. So I had a good head start on this one.
I'm going to ask you for some juicy gossip, but who's the toughest round in the gym? Who's the guy when Coach Mark goes, you're up against him, you go, oh, not him.
Yeah, it's definitely UC because we both have like a lot of respect for each other, and we can push each other without getting into a fight. Like we can push
Mm.
each other really hard without our emotions getting into it. So he's definitely one of my toughest rounds, and he's put on great performances every time he's been in the UFC this time around. So he's a great fighter, and it's just great to train with him.
You one topic I want to bring you back to is this. If I remember correctly, this is your first fight camp as a dad.
Say that one more time.
This is your first fight camp as a father.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how is that? How are the extra emotions going into what is already a stressful experience, but with a newborn in the world?
Oh, I mean, it's been pretty easy with her. My daughter has been fairly easy unless she's sick or hungry. And my lady Alexa, she takes very good care of her and um, makes sure everything's done for me. So it makes fight camp really not any different, honestly. I'm able to lock in and focus on my stuff, but still have a little bit of time for them at the end of the day. So yeah, she takes care of everything around the house and make sure Ara, my daughter, is getting the proper stuff. Like she's only 4 months old and can already use the toilet by herself. It's crazy. So
I think I saw a couple of photos on your Instagram, and it looks like she was watching your sparring. Is she giving you any good tips? Any tips to do in the fight, or is she not quite at coaching stage yet?
Alexa,
Yeah.
she actually cornered me my UFC debut. She was in my corner. She definitely can. She just has her hands a little full right now with other things. So, but yeah, she definitely gives me some good advice and just the small things that I'm forgetting in my round or whatever. She'll lock me back in.
100%. Well, let's talk about the fight as I mentioned. As I mentioned, in a couple of weeks' time, you'll be facing Brandon Marotte in your return fight. Give me your assessment of your next opponent, what you think he does well, maybe some areas that you're looking to exploit.
Man, I don't really know much about him, honestly. I seen he fought Terrence McKinney in the UFC, got knocked out in 20 seconds, and I think that's kind of what he thinks he's going to do to me. So, um, I expect him to either come out super calm at the beginning or super fast, and we'll be ready for either. And I learned a lot from my last fight, so I'm just hoping to kind of showcase that and like my comfortability in any position.
What, out of interest, what makes you think that he thinks he's going to do what Terrence McKinney did to him to you?
I mean, that's what he says. That's what he says. That's what he said in the interview. But everybody that I fought has always said they're gonna knock me out in the first round, and it doesn't seem to go like that. So, yeah, it's just talk until we're fighting.
Do you often watch your opponent interviews, or is that a clip that a friend or a buddy sent you? Do you pay attention to your opponents in camp in that way?
No, they just sent me one of my fans sent me a clip on Instagram, and I opened it, and he's just been talking shit. So, it is what it is. People like to run their mouth, and then they think it's sweet until they feel me, and then it's not sweet anymore.
We'll be back to the interview in just a second, but first and foremost, college football is finally back, and Inside Fighting are partnered with DraftKings to bring you an incredible new offer. New DraftKings customers who bet $5 will receive $200 in bonus bets instantly, just by signing up using promo code Inside Fighting. Enjoy! I imagine that makes training sessions in the gym a little bit more motivating, if you will. I mean, I'm not saying that you're unmotivated, but I always imagine a little hint of bad blood always helps when you're preparing for a fist fight.
Yeah, it's never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. So I can't hate it.
Is there anything you can take from his debut and his first fight in the UFC against McKinney? I mean, it's 20 seconds. I imagine there's a little thing here or two that here or there, but is there anything you can take and apply to your own game?
Just kind of the way that he moves and stuff. You can kind of see the way his body moves, his body mechanics. But other than that, not really. I'm sure he's gonna come out with a lot of switches and trying to head kick and all this stuff. But we're ready for all that, and I'm just looking forward to having a good fight and getting my head raised at the end, getting a good paycheck, and hopefully getting on another contract. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Because if memory serves, Isaac, your all of your wins have come in the first round. Is that right?
Yes, 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 yes.
So, in your mind, how important or essential is a quick start in this one, like to try and carry on that momentum and trying to get him out of there early?
There is none. My last fight was my first fight going 3 rounds,
Hmm.
and it's my first time. Most people go through that on the local scene.
Hmm.
I'm doing it on ESPN, so I learned so much going
Hmm.
through that, and I think however the fight goes is how it goes. And sure, I'm gonna start fast. I always start fast and try to finish fast. And I think with just a little bit of different tactics compared to my last fight, I'll be able to do that no problem. 3 rounds.
But we have to talk about the last fight because it was a very, very close split decision. I'm not saying this because we're chatting now, but when I first watched it, I thought it was a pretty clear decision for you. So obviously a lot of positives to take, but how do you reflect on your fight against Christine Rodriguez last time out?
I mean, I performed well. It's just I hadn't been in that situation with that high level of a striker.
Mm.
Um, and I just didn't have the experience of going through that. But yeah, I did beat him up for 2 rounds. There's no doubt about it. He was cut and bleeding all over the place, and he didn't hit me with anything that even got close to hurting me. So, uh, it's just good. And then in the third, he got the better hand. I've said this before in other interviews. It's hard to win every round in the UFC.
Mm.
Every round at that level of fighting. So, sure, I lost a round, but I didn't lose that fight. I think anyone that watched the fight thinks I won the fight, and the whole media scored it for me. So, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that I won the fight. It's just I have to take the lessons from the loss, and that really doesn't define me or who I am as a fighter or anything. My heart knows I won. The world knows I won. So it's just about taking those experiences and those lessons that I learned in the fight and carrying them over to the rest of my career. Because I got into the UFC at 5-0, all first round finishes. So it's all about experience, and I get a lot of that in the gym. But there's some things that can't be replicated, and yeah, I felt that my last fight, and it was I mean, it sucked, but it was also a good feeling as well.
Almost dare I say, a victim of your own success, finishing these guys so early and so quickly that when a guy you maybe can't get out of there as easily as some of those other guys is still there, you hadn't obviously
Yeah,
been put
yeah.
in
I
those
mean,
positions.
for sure, man. I don't know, man. I don't want to get on to it, but
Mm.
yeah, I learned a lot, and I think um, just I showed what I'm capable of in the first couple rounds. So that's always good to look back on, and like people recognize that I am that good. So I just have to be able to do it for 3 rounds. So that's the only change I have to make.
We've just seen UFC 305, the controversy between the Jairzinho Rosenstrike and Taito Ivasa scorecard, where one of the judges scored 3 rounds to 0 or 30-27 for Taito Ivasa. There is a lingering issue in the sport with judging. I think most people would agree. Having been through that experience earlier on in the year, do you have any ways in which we could alter or change or improve the judging system that we currently have?
I mean, at some point we got to bring in guys that have been in fights and understand like um, the difference between the scoring for kickboxing and grappling and blah 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 blah. Because every single fight it seems different. We just saw that fight go that way, which there's no way to have also won.
Mm.
all 3 rounds. It's not even possible. And then another one was the Kulabau fight.
Mm.
Seemed like they were scoring. I forget who he was fighting. I forget his name, but
Ricardo Ramos.
yeah, Ramos. When they were kind of scoring his takedowns like big, and he wasn't really doing a lot with them. But in my fight, for example, somehow I lose with 9 minutes and 40 seconds of control time in the first 2 rounds. Like I only didn't have control for like 10 seconds
Mm.
or 20 seconds of the fight in the first 2 rounds. So it's just all over the place. And us as fighters, we don't really know exactly what they want or exactly how it's going to go. So yeah, I mean, the best thing you can do is finish your fights. And, that's what I try to do. That's what I've always done. And that's what I'll be doing September 7th.
You said then as well a couple of minutes ago that the focus is to get a new contract, to renew your contract with the UFC. Do you have to do something past get a W into to consolidate that in your mind? Like, is the finish key in this one to impress the bosses and to get that
I
second
mean,
contract?
yeah, definitely. I They don't owe me anything, so I have to go show them that I'm worth another contract. So, that's what I'm hoping to do. And, hopefully I put on a great performance and they're like, hell yeah, we want this kid. We want to keep this kid. And, I get another contract with some more pay and am able to go even deeper down the rabbit hole of MMA.
Do you have a call out in mind? Should you get past Brandon Marotte? Is there a guy in the rest of the division that you like the style matchup with next?
Man, I'm not prepared for that one yet. I'm sure we'll have someone fight day, but not right now.
Out of interest, because your wrestling ability is, sublime in my opinion. You have a very much a, uh, a speciality with the wrestling and the grappling. Do you prefer fighting other grapple centric fighters where the fight is going to be who can implement their grappling game, or do you prefer to fight traditionally better strikers where the game is can you get them to the ground and that kind of to and fro of where the fight takes place?
Man, I don't know. I've had success with both. I like the challenge of fighting another grappler
Mm.
that's high level, um, because it definitely pushes us to um, do some crazy things out there, and sometimes it ends up in a striking battle as well. And I feel pretty comfortable in that with another grappler. So yeah, man, it's really kind of one of those things that's just kind of opponent dependent,
Mm.
you know.
What do you make of the world title fight scheduled to take place in your division between Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway and UFC 308, memory serves?
Yeah, that fight's exciting, man. I really don't know who's gonna win that. I love Max Holloway. I grew up watching him fight, and every time he fights, I'm completely inspired to go do more.
Mm.
And Topuria is a guy that's came in. He actually fought my buddy Yusuf
Yeah.
in Yusuf's first UFC stint. So we kind of have a gauge on how good he is, and he's good, man. So I think it's gonna be an exciting fight, and yeah, I'm just excited to watch.
What was your reaction to Max Holloway's last second KO over Justin Gaethje at UFC 300? I had the pleasure of being in the room, Isaac, so that was a fantastic moment for me and one that will stay with me forever. But as a featherweight competing in the division, what was your reaction to that knockout?
So that's actually funny. That same night was the night my daughter was born. She was born like I want to say like an hour and a half
Wow.
before they walked. So my lady Alexa and my daughter were both sleeping, and I'm watching this fight on my phone in the hospital right next to the bed. And I just like jump up and I'm like, holy fuck, no way. And was just so hype. And then obviously I woke up my lady and my newborn daughter, and I was so ecstatic. I was like, that is crazy. Last second too, like no lie, last second. And that was just a dog fight, and he decided to stand in the middle and let it all hang out, and it worked out for him.
A lot of people are saying it's the best knockout in UFC history. I mean, that's a very big claim, but where do you think it ranks? Because of very special moments and also the context of where the fight's at, just, a moment that will live forever.
I think it's top five for
Me
sure.
too.
Top five. One of my favorites is when Anderson front kicked Vitor Belfort. That was one of my favorites by far. But yeah, that knockout was definitely top five, maybe even top three. for me. Like it was super exciting. The whole fight was exciting, and then just to end it like that, that was like a dream almost.
100%. Well, last one from me, Isaac, and thank you so much for your time. I asked this to all of my guests as my final question. I'd like to know, in a perfect world, how do you envisage fight day going on September 7th? So I'd like to, if you could give me a walkthrough, and you can be as brief or as detailed as you like, but a walkthrough of what happens when you wake up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night in a perfect world.
On September 7th.
On the fight day, yes.
Oh, I'm gonna wake up, get some good food, probably get a little shakeout in, get my body warm up, and I'll probably sleep most of the day until they call me to go to the arena. That's what I usually do. I'm a sleepy bear, and I'm gonna sleep any chance I get. So I'll probably sleep and then get up, shake out, walk in there, hit them with some stuff, pop, 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 finish the fight, and we're gonna go have a good night in Vegas. I don't get too crazy, but we're gonna go have a good time and celebrate and just kind of just enjoy the win, smell the roses for a second for a day, and then I'm gonna head right back here to well, I'm gonna head to Kansas City. I gotta harvest a bunch of my bees for a week. I got a bunch of honey ready, and then right back out here to Colorado, back to work.
So I was going to end the interview there, but you mentioned you have a harvest of bees, which is so interesting to me. So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, man. I have 3 beehives running right now. I obviously want a lot more, but it's pretty hard as a professional fighter to have 40 hives. But yeah, I have 3 right now. Usually get about 120 pounds of honey a year.
Oh.
And yeah, I just basically sell it to all my friends and family and people that I know that want some of the best honey they can get. Um, yeah, I got into it in college. I read a lot about bees and kind of got sucked down the rabbit hole and just fascinated with how they work, how everything works. And I decided um, I didn't have any money at the time, so I decided to fight a couple times, make some money, and then once I did a couple times, I had some money in my pocket. I put all that money into a beehive, and then just eventually grew that, split them into 3, and since then it's been a wrap. It's just a hobby of mine, something that calms my soul, gets me back to nature, and away from the violent fight life. So it's something that I enjoy, and I'll probably do the rest of my life.
Wow, I love that. And and right now I'm sitting here thinking there's so many good nicknames around bees. You could have, the lethal sting, the beekeeper. You should change your nickname to something bee related.
I've heard that before as well. Yeah, there's not very many fighters that know how to work with bees. It's pretty fascinating, and you know, at the end of the day, they're one of the biggest things to provide us fruit and stuff. So they're just such good pollinators. So yeah, they're very important. I love having them and enjoy their company.
I love it. Well, I think that's the best place for us to end, Isaac. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Have a great and safe rest of camp. And if we don't speak before, then best of luck for the next fight.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it.